regretting it.
New Eden. A universe brimming with possibility and rife with adventure. Only the most intrepid capsuleers can conquer its...
Hello, everybody. Hey, Justin, how's it going, bud? We are setting up new chat stuff. We're setting up a new stream thing. I got some stuff updated and am basically messing with stream.
During the early 1990s, software developers were exploring the possibilities of the internet, a relatively new invention at the time. Interactive online spaces such as multi-user dungeons and forums were shared by millions of people.
We're going
but
to
it
turn
was
him
clear
down.
to everyone using and creating these spaces that there was much more potential. Internet technology was rapidly improving and changing, and developers had to make certain that their creations could keep pace. Even more difficult, however, was balancing the ever-changing needs and desires of users with the services being created. As personal computers became more widespread and their rendering capabilities increased, developers grew more and more interested in simulated, three-dimensional environments shared over the internet as the natural progression of forums. And of these developers, there were few as ambitious as the Icelandic company
Welcome in,
Oz
everybody.
Interactive,
Grimmist, how's it going, brother? How are you doing?
Oz Virtual. During the preceding decades, cyberpunk novelists
We are setting up
visited
the stream
immersive
for
3D
testing.
sensory virtual experiences enabled by powerful computers networked with one another, and software developers had used these stories as inspiration to create worldwide web browsers that allowed users to explore websites in 3 dimensions, utilizing a coding language called
So this
the
is
Virtual
very much a
Reality
test to see
Markup
what
Language,
the stream's
or
gonna do
VRML, as
and how
opposed
it's
to the
gonna
Hypertext
work.
Markup Language, or HTML. Founded in 1992, Oz Interactive sought to expand upon this concept and offer a VRML web browser that allowed users to interact with other users who were visiting the website at the same time, with each person represented by their own 3D avatar, and even allowing for simultaneous voice communication, a remarkable progression for the
But
time.
I'm testing to
However,
see how
the
it works. I'm
location
testing
made
to see what
development
all
difficult.
hiccups it's
Isolates
gonna run
containers
into.
connected to the
Like
rest
for
of
instance,
the
I had to
world
reset
by
the
a
audio
single
on
modem,
Stream Elements
and the
to
country would turn off this
get
modem
everything
during
set.
the night when few people were using it. Still, development would continue for the next 4 years until 1996, when they finally launched the beta version of Oz Virtual. Soon, other companies began forming partnerships with Oz Interactive, including Time Warner, Ericsson, the Van Gogh Museum, and Atlantic Records, to create bespoke worlds within Oz Virtual for them. Most notably, Intel cooperated with Oz Interactive to recreate a New York nightclub in Oz Virtual, then utilize a motion capture system on the performers at the club to host a party in both the real and virtual spaces simultaneously. However, the company soon realized that the concept of Oz Virtual, like many others of its ilk, was a product developed too early for the market, and a small group of developers and artists, as well as a single historian, left Oz Interactive to found their own company in 1997, which they named Crowd Control Productions, or as it is commonly abbreviated, CCP.
I don't
Where
know why
this
it didn't
small
give me
group
the
had
audio
once
for that
spent
redeem.
their time developing tech demos, they were now interested in creating a finished product, and so they decided that they would develop something remarkably different: a board game. Leveraging the design
Or that one.
experience of its initial members, they quickly constructed their game, which they christened Haituspiel, or Danger Game. Produced in conjunction with Alcoholics Anonymous, the game saw players fighting against one another and occasionally making tenuous alliances as they attempted to break the cycle of addiction to various substances. Core to the game's mechanics was a focus on sharp consequences for failure and the ability to interfere with others' play. In the game design documents, the first line read, "Death is a serious matter." Haituspiel was widely successful in Iceland, and soon it had sold a copy to 1/8 of households in the country, bringing this small, independent company of designers a significant influx of capital. But rather than continuing to make board games, the company returned to the concept that had driven them to work together in the first place. While the design and technology they had made for Oz Virtual was produced too early for its initial purpose, they envisaged a game made with the same concepts and some of the same technology. And so, in 1999, using the money they had earned from Haituspiel, they began work on a space-themed, massively multiplayer online game. At first, the designers attempted a 2-dimensional style, but the team decided quickly that they wanted to create something more reminiscent of a movie, and soon they settled on a 3-dimensional style that placed the player in a ship out in space against a backdrop of planets and stars, and they began releasing trailers in the year 2000. Publishers were initially unwilling to believe that the graphics in the trailers were rendered in real time, but after they had been convinced, CCP was able to secure the funding they felt necessary to make the game that they wanted, which they named EVE Online, the second Genesis. Their ambitions, however, were far more than graphical. Supporting the core gameplay would be a complicated system of economics described as hyper-capitalistic by its CEO. All resources available in the game would be gathered, traded, processed, and utilized by players with little management from the company. Like their board game Haituspiel, the first line in the design document read, death is a serious matter, and, invoking biblical language, this game world was given the name New Eden. When development began in earnest, the company had approximately 20 people, most of them from Oz Virtual, while most others were direct contacts of the initial members from Oz, including some whose relationship had been made by playing Ultima Online with them, another early MMORPG. One of the most challenging aspects of creating EVE would be its scaling. Rather than splitting the player base into multiple different instances to reduce the load on servers, the team decided that they would place everyone in the world onto a single massive instance, or game world, with thousands of stars, using different servers for different in-game regions. In an interview with gaming magazine IGN, the lead designer and art director, Rainier Harderson, said, quote, "I would say the hardest thing to implement must be the server backend. Apart from that, the biggest challenges in doing EVE would be that there are so many things that we are doing in the game that have never been done before. This means that there are a lot of conceptual problems that we have had to solve without having any reference to in previous games. For instance, when we started out, the only third-person space game we had seen was Homeworld, and that was a real-time strategy game. So that meant that we had no reference whatsoever in how to navigate spaceships from a third-person viewpoint. Another example are uncertainties that rise due to the technical limitation of being a massively multiplayer game. How is collision detection handled on the server? How will the physics model run? Will real solar system sizes work in the game? Yes, they do, to an accuracy of 30 centimeters. Million security issues, etc." End quote. During production, the team decided upon an iterative process which, while effective, was arduous.
Early on, we saw immediately that this couldn't be done in one go. So we decided to do 11 games, basically. We would do EVE 11 times over, each version progressively moving forward to the main goal, but not try to do EVE in one step. So the first step was very simple, just get the basic client server